States of America after a long 2-month India trip. A month was a spiritual pilgrimage, and the other month was a personal pilgrimage and addressing some bodily issues, just seeing some Ayurvedic doctors and dealing with some functional requirements of the body. And the last few days, I remember last week, you may have seen, I had introduced you to 3 of my friends that I met at Govardhan Eco Village. It's a spiritual paradise. And I was shocked and surprised and joyful that 3 people that I have met about 13 years ago, they were there doing retreats in Govardhan Eco Village. Just briefly, for those of you who are new to this call and listening online on Facebook, whatever Nitai is putting us, I have no idea what Nitai does. Somehow he keeps us available and accessible online. So I'm so grateful to Nitai. He's like the glue in the family that keeps us all together on Instagram. If you see anything on Instagram, that's Nitai. He's the one that keeps us united and informed, and all the social media platforms. So thank you, Nitai. So when we went to Govardhan Eco Village, I met these people that I had met 13 years ago. They were traveling around the United States and Europe and just lighting the fire of kirtan and planting the seed of bhakti in the heart, seed of love in the hearts of thousands of people. I think they have a mailing list of almost 10,000 or so people that they have personally touched. And they have been taking a little break because they've been doing internal work. And they created a beautiful retreat center in the Swiss Alps that we are all invited to. At some point, we're going to make it and do a retreat there. But that was that beautiful couple. And then you also met another lady there. And this lady, her name is Janova. And she is a beautiful soul, is also doing a nice chakra healing retreat at Govardhan Eco Village. So from there, I had a great opportunity to go and check out an extraordinary ashram that is in the heart of Mumbai, in the city. Imagine an ashram in the city, crowded with millions and millions of people, but they're able to create and maintain a very high spiritual energy of spiritual nourishment for each and every ashramites. So I went to visit that place because I met a lot of old friends who come to visit us in the United States. People who are in the medical field and other fields have given it all up just to relish the practice of bhakti and what bhakti has to offer. And so that was a very nice experience. That was just one night, but to be in a spiritually charged place where you have 200 brahmacharis, celibate monks, who are very steadily and with complete fixation on a divine connection, daily, strong, disciplined regimen. It's really nice. And then here I am in New York City. This is a place called Queens. Especially in Queens, they have different divisions. In Queens, they have the Vietnamese part, the Chinese part, the Guyanese part, and the Trinidadian part. Just a little outside of New York. So I'm in the Guyanese part of South America, of Queens. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay. So this is a beautiful place. And I wanted to really, really share with you something that has been hitting me really, really the depths of my existence. And that is this very deep realizations about faith. And you'll be able to also ask yourself, engage yourself, what level of faith, what kind of faith you have. And if there is any way you have access to the deepest aspect of your spiritual faith, which will give you more access to a higher quality of spiritual life. So today, Vijay, and there are supposed to be a few more other students coming for this call, and just get together and have some kirtans and, have a feast. And Keshavi also showed up, brought some paintings and bags that I couldn't carry with me, and she was able to carry. She brought it, and so I could have it. So she's also here. And one thing I've noticed on her car, there was a sticker. Someone, I don't know if it happens in Atlanta as well. When you park your car, someone puts this notes on your windshield or next to your windows, next to your driver's side door. Does it happen in Europe too? People put flyers there?
Ticket.
Yeah, but it's very common in America. You park your car and you find there's always a visiting card or some poster or something. There was a poster that she showed me. It's a poster that says astrology and solve all your problems. And it had 30 different items that it was offering, solving all your problems on witchcraft and black magic and you name it. It was a major promise. Imagine 30 major promises being made in this beautiful flyer. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, wow. I was already meditating on this topic, but then made me realize how in this material world, we're constantly having to put faith in something. And faith normally is derived through our relationship with our senses and the sense objects. For example, this poster, you would have to have faith that this person that put a poster in the car, on the car dashboard, this person could solve all your problems in order for you to get the phone and call her or him. So by looking at a poster, you have to put faith in that poster, and that faith will determine the trajectory of where some decisions in your life will go. So at every junction in our life, we associate with the objects of the senses, and we accumulate and come to some sort of a faith-based conclusion in our life. Based on what we hear, we'll determine, is what Diane's saying? Can I trust what Diane's saying? She's talking and saying that there's no aliens, but my friend, someone else told me there was a lot of aliens. So do I have faith in Diane's words? And vice versa. Everything we hear, we determine whether to put faith in it or not. Everything we see, everything we touch, everything we smell, everything we taste, we create a certain conclusion out of it. When I first had croissant in my whole entire life, when I first had croissant, I was thinking, wow, this is the best sweet I've ever had in my life. And it was largely because the person who made it and who was with me was explaining to me how it is made, the whole process of it, the whole preparations, the intensity with which he was explaining. So I was listening, I was watching him, and I tasted it. So through three sensory faculties, and I also touched it, sense of touch, taste, smell, I heard. All my senses was involved in coming to the conclusion that it was the sweetest thing that I had ever tasted. So this is how faith is developed in the mode of ignorance. Bhagavad Gita explains there is mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Ignorance generally has meaning, it means dull, but it also means something that is not fully informed, something that is very subjective, something that is not absolute. So this is what happens when we interact with the world through our sensory faculties. We get faith on different things, with people, with environment, what we hear. And so this is how this body of faith in our life is built. And like the first time I came to the United States, it was very, very difficult to get used to this culture, the way people greet each other, and it's verbally there, but emotionally I felt it wasn't there. So I was trying to compute, how do you deal with this? They say, how are you? And before you say, I'm fine, they just walk away. So I was thinking, these are very interesting cultural ways that people here communicate. So it took me a while to understand when someone really asks me, how are you? How genuine it is. I started to question the genuinity of questions being asked because that was based on some experiences. So in this way, our faith is continuously shaping and changing our relationship with the world. That is faith in the mode of ignorance, or ignorance can also mean darkness. And then we have faith in the mode of passion, where you hear things and you've been asked to do things, and it propels you and it moves towards achieving something that is also very temporary and something that is very transactional. And my main topic today was actually talking about this deep sense of spiritual faith. Where does that come from? And I was meditating on this principle of faith, and I just have a few notes I want to share with you that I was thinking about faith. That this spiritual faith is the element of faith that allows you to have access to divine knowledge. So we will notice that many information that we gather, we try to put some faith in it. But if you want to have the deepest spiritual faith, then that faith comes through knowledge. That means we get some information, and that information is then realized through the application of that intelligence, application of that information. And that becomes realized knowledge. And from there, our faith starts to deepen. So this spiritual faith means it is something that breeds spiritual knowledge and spiritual realization. And from there, we can also have a divine relationship with the personification of faith. Because faith sometimes is just an emotion, but it is actually a spiritual form. It is a deity. And this deity of faith is what makes us, gives us access to this divine everlasting relationship. And there's another point that I wanted to make is when you have faith in the Guru and Vedanta, this is from Shvatashvatar Upanishad. It's one of the Upanishads. It's very clear. And it says that it opens the pathway for eternal welfare. It's very interesting. And this is also quoted by this great founder of the Vedanta philosophy. What does it mean, Guru and Vedanta? Guru means a teacher, someone who guides you. And it is not someone who has long hair and beards or someone who's bald like me. This is not what the definition of a guru is. Definition of a guru is someone who is heavy with spiritual knowledge. And definition of a guru is someone who provides you light to move away from darkness. And sometimes it could be as simple as your dog, your cat, your mom, your teachers, your friends. So anyone that helps to dispel the darkness from your life, that is a guru. And of course, there is 4 different kinds of guru, which we won't get into now. Teachers. And Vedanta. Vedanta is the process of self-inquiry. It's a very, very critical part of our spiritual growth. I have mentioned to many of you before, when you asked me, what school do I come from? I don't come from one school. I come from the school of Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti is the school of love. Vedanta is the school of inquiry. And so this important principle of self-inquiry, we're just always inquiring to know the absolute truth. So I'm a student of Bhakti Vedanta because I'm always curious to know the absolute truth and how that absolute truth is connected to this transcendental, eternal spiritual love. And the embodiment of that in the yoga text is explained as the form of Krishna that we went to Vrindavan to experience. And so these are the 2 principles that is given by this great saint Shankaracharya, where he explains that you must have a guru and you must recognize that. When you have a teacher, then the doors open up. Because when you accept someone as a teacher, that means there is a level of humility, because this faith is planted in the heart of a student by a teacher. That faith is not something you can buy in the market. It doesn't come in a beautiful bottle. That faith is actually divine faith, is channeled from a disciplic succession. It is described in the Bhagavad Gita. If you read chapter 4, verse 2, it says, Evam parampara, means parampara. That means teacher to a student, teacher to a student. So everyone in the lineage is a teacher and is also a student. This is an important principle of understanding how this spiritual faith is developed and is given to us. And many times this faith is explained metaphorically as a beautiful seed of spiritual love that it planted. Is called Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of pure love. Bhakti means pure love. Prema Bhakti we're talking. And Bija means seed. So this seed of spiritual love is planted into the heart. And when that plant grows and it starts to have flowers and fruits, because when the plant grows, it has beautiful fragrances. And people are naturally attracted to these spiritual fragrances. And then very soon, that beautiful creeper of bhakti will start to have fruits. And seeds will develop. And those seeds are then planted in the hearts of others. So if we cultivate this pure bhakti, what we call in Sanskrit prema bhakti, unalloyed, unconditional, transcendental, pure, eternal. This is what prema bhakti is. When that seed is planted into our hearts, then we nurture it and we fan it in the association, in the sangha like we're having now. I remember when we started the sangha, people were just wondering, oh, there was like 3, 4 people and 5 people. Hey, Kit, nice to see you. This Durga Devi's daughter, she is an amazing singer. And she just gets on the harmonium from a previous life. She's just so spiritually inclined, and she just loves to get on the harmonium and start singing. You know, what happened there, you know? She's born in Eindhoven, and she picks out a harmonium, starts playing and singing. So anyway, kids, I'm happy to see you. So getting back to this topic of Prema Bhakti. So this seed of Bhakti in the heart continues its growth till that connection of faith reaches the spiritual roots. And the spiritual root of that of this Prema Bhakti is a place called Goloka Vrindavan. Many of you have been to Vrindavan with me. It is a small, energetic, geographical footprint in the material world that is still left over from 5,000 years ago. Right? But in the original spiritual world, this deepest, the most purest form of spiritual love is expressed and shared amongst one another. And that is the beauty of this practice of bhakti. We can actually have access to that even while we're in this physical form. Because this Kripa in the heart, the Kripa of bhakti, actually has a form. And she has beautiful eyes. Imagine your heart has eyes to see. You cannot see the eyes of your heart, but your heart has divine spiritual eyes to see. Why is it that whenever you operate from the heart, you're always seeing the beauty in others? And that is strictly because the heart's eyes are very beautiful. And we all have access to this divine spiritual world called Goloka Vrindavan. So this is the faith that is spiritual. And this beautiful yoga text called Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 22, text 62, it says, the most complete faith is one when one is constantly engaged in the loving service of the divine in a favorable mood, in a favorable state of mind. Many of us know that love means to serve. Love is not a passive word. We don't just walk up to people and say, we love you, and slap them in the face or ignore them. When we say we love you because you are holding this beautiful divine being in your heart. We are all divine beings ourselves. And with us, there's a supreme divine being with us. And we are able to see that and recognize it. And so therefore, we're always thinking how to constantly remain engaged in the service of others. When we serve one another, we think that we are just serving that person. But I'm sorry to tell you, you are not just serving that person, you're serving the person that is inside of that person with that person. Does that make sense? That is the beauty of the spiritual attitude of service and humility. And when you serve that divine being within that being, with that being, that what happens is you're making not just a material connection, but you're making a spiritual connection with that person. And so therefore this verse, the most complete faith is when we are constantly engaged. That means our very constitutional nature to serve others is something that we must continuously and daily, vigorously practice. We must seek out service to others every single day. Somehow or other, there has to be an element of service. And that opens the door, and that gives us the access. And the second point here in this beautiful text, I'm translating it from another language to English. It has to be in a favorable state of mind. Remember, we discussed the 4 functional levels of consciousness: fear, reward, duty, and love. All actions in this world are done out of one of these 4 functional levels of consciousness. We do it out of fear. Most things in this world happen out of fear. And if not, then we do it out of reward. And sometimes we do it out of duty. But what he's saying is that we have to serve out of love. And this is the important point to understand. What is the purest form of faith? It has to be a favorable state of mind. Because many people in this world will serve, and they are continuously serving others. But what is the intent behind the expression in their service? And that is what is the real essence of the spiritual faith. The intention is, how can I serve this person in the best possible way and make this person the happiest person in the world? And nothing else. That is what is being explained in this verse. And now, how is the spiritual faith? So this spiritual faith is channeled by the divine mercy, and when we get the mercy, the divine mercy, then this flow of faith becomes not just cyclic, but it becomes expansive in the world. When we have spiritual faith, your faith will be so strong that whoever you speak to, whoever hears about you, whoever knows about you, the heart will start to open up. You know, in India, there's a beautiful places of pilgrimage where the sages go to converge, and then they all get into their deep state of spiritual sadhana. And then the world starts to go to those places. Like, for example, many of you went to Vrindavan and you saw. Vrindavan was nothing but beautiful 12 forests of Vrindavan. Every street of Vrindavan, all the rivers, all the creeks were filled with the most precious, fragrant milk from the Surabhi cows of Vrindavan. Vrindavan didn't have water, by the way. Yamuna was the only river that it explained had water. All the other streams in Vrindavan were made out of milk from the cows of the Surabhi, the original cow. All the cows in Vrindavan, because they were just so filled with love. And so, over the years, now we see all the sages have converged into these places to deepen their personal, deepest spiritual experiences, and this stay put in those energy vortexes. And now, those beautiful forests has become a place where millions and millions and millions of people come together, trying to get a little bit of the glimpse of that spiritual energy. And now, not just India, now people from all over the world are coming to this one little town. So this is what happens when we practice with deep, sincere spiritual faith. That wherever you are, people will come, because that spiritual faith is the most attractive, the most radiating, the most powerful, the most intoxicating fragrance that anyone can have. Faith in the divine, faith in that deep relationship with the divine. Because in that fragrance, there's nothing but pure loving exchange between the individual soul and the supreme soul, between us and God, between us and the divine. And this is very clear in the wisdom texts in the Gita and various other texts, the importance of cultivating this faith. And one of the most powerful ways to cultivate this faith is to take the instructions of the teachers to our hearts which means simple things like daily sadhana. Every single day, just like you breathe, just like you eat, just like you go to work, we must spend some quality time every single day in cultivating and watering the seed of pure love in our heart through our sadhana. I came into this house, and as soon as I came into this house, they opened the door, and this house is a beautiful temple. The main focal point of this house, it's a temple. This is a place where God resides, and we are just the caretakers of this house. This is the mood of the family here. And I remember I always tell Durga Devi in Eindhoven, I said, it's really, really important. You must not ever think that you're the owner of this house. You're simply a caretaker, because this house was here before you, and this house will remain after you. You don't own this house. You're simply to take care of it because it belongs to someone else. Everything in this world belongs to the divine, and everything has been given to us. All the facilities have been given to us to cultivate this deep feeling of spiritual love and that connection that we have in the heart. Everything. There's nothing in this world that is not there, that is out there, that is not meant for your cultivation of the pure bhakti in your heart. So this was the beautiful thing. A house is actually a sacred place. And for last 15, 20 years, they've been religiously disciplined every single day, waking up and offering prayers and singing mantras. And some of you may think, oh, what is so sacred about this? You know, just a simple principle, right? About a cup of water. You just take a cup of water and you place it in front of, whoever your deity is, Jesus or Krishna or Shiva or whoever it is. You put a cup of water for them. And you start to chant all these mantras. Simply by having a proper intention, chanting the mantras, doing the kirtan in front of your altar, all the bodies, all the living entities there are getting purified. And the water bottles and the water cup that you have, it changes the cells in the water cubes. It will change to have the highest spiritual vibration. And you can just drink that water. So imagine a simple thing like giving water to your deities and just praying and doing your sadhana there is purifying everything around you, including the cup of water there. And then when you drink that water, you are spiritualizing your insides, not just your mind, but your body as well. This is what sadhana means. Spiritualizing your physical, mental, and your spiritual existence. And whatever, your personal practice is, the important thing is this daily nurturing of the seed of bhakti in the heart. So that is what faith means, is the daily commitment to the heart. If we don't make commitment to the heart every single day, then what happens is the heart gets more and more starved. And when the heart is starved of spiritual love, it then seeks out material affection and material love. And then we get carried away, and then we get lost in the world, chasing temporary gratifications and temporary material relationships. So the heart truly needs the heart. So when you spend time in the heart, what you're doing is you're truly feeling that spiritual love that the need that we have as souls to be loved is met. And there is no need for seeking external validations. You don't need to have someone tell you every single day, I love you. Because even without saying, you already feel that love inside. That's why we have to change the culture of our lives by daily practicing our sadhana and daily sharing the love in our heart with our heart and its divine connection. This is the essence that I have been meditating on for the last 2-3 days to share with all of you. And this started when I was sitting in Govardhan Eco Village. Imagine a beautiful town where the tribal people live up near the mountains. There's nothing there. But, this one Swami, he just had this deep vision of creating a replica of Vrindavan in that place. And now you see Vrindavan has manifested there, Radha Kunda, Shama Kunda, all the forest of Vrindavan. And now visited by thousands of people within 12 years. So what happens is with spiritual faith, spiritual communities are created, spiritual energies are created, spiritual friendships are created, spiritual joy is experienced. This is all simply through the sadhana, your personal daily sadhana. And that really, really got me thinking. I asked Maharaj, I said, how did you come up with this idea of having Govardhan Eco Village here? And he just smiled and he laughed. He didn't want to really talk. And I really got the message. The real essence is that spiritual world that I'm talking about, this Goloka Vrindavan, it is a place that is already in our hearts. And the unfortunate reality is that we haven't opened our heart enough to actually have access to that spiritual realm. And therefore, he has been doing sadhana for almost 55 years, I think. And he has access to this beautiful place of Goloka Vrindavan in his heart. And therefore, he's able to manifest it for others. So, my realization that I'm sharing with you is that we have to try and access that spiritual realm within our heart. And when we truly do it with our intense, sincere sadhana, when we access that spiritual realm within our heart, the divine connection, the divine relationship, then everything around us will change. Imagine you may have toxic friends or people who are users, they're all just going to disappear. Because you're just all about that spiritual love. You're all about prema bhakti. Someone wants to take something from you, they want something, but they're going to get something else, which is pure love, which is truly what they want. So this is what my meditation has been for today. And then I want to spend, my time is up. And I just want to spend a few minutes just talking about Christmas because I have 6 more minutes. This Christmas is a very beautiful celebration. This is where we get to practice what is in our heart. Jesus Christ actually stood for love, compassion. He was about community. He was about devotion. He was about service. So in this celebration of Christmas, I think I appeal to all of your hearts, not to your mind, not to your intelligence, to all of your hearts, to please find the most precious gift that you have in your life and share that with someone else for Christmas. Thinking that just buying gifts and spending more money and the most expensive gifts is really a celebration of Christmas. We may if that's what we think, that we may slightly misunderstood what Jesus Christ really stood for. He really stood for something transcendental, something really divine. So this is my appeal to all of you for Christmas, that please find something that is transcendental, something beautiful, spiritual in your heart. Even if it is a gift, offer it with love. Whatever it is, just it should come from the heart. So thank you so much. And I think then the call will be, so there will be no calls before Christmas. I had a whole array of thoughts I had wanted to share about Christmas. Since I won't be able to do another call before that, I want to wish you all a transcendental Christmas, a spiritual Christmas, a Merry Christmas, not just a white Christmas, but a loving Christmas. And I would love for all of you to celebrate spiritual love with family. Tell them how much they mean and appreciate how much you appreciate them. Tell them what is in your heart. Find out from them what is the deepest spiritual experiences they have experienced in life. That is the real connection that we can connect with Jesus, because Jesus' consciousness is spiritual consciousness. So thank you so much. I am totally in loving respect for each and every one of you who make the time to come every weekend to share your heart with all of us and share your love with all of us. Okay, we may have room for one question. Does anybody have a question?
What was the yoga text that you were translating from the Chitam?
It's called Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is a beautiful book of spiritual knowledge that has been very humbly presented by a great saint named Krishnadas Kaviraj. And it has many volumes. It's not just one book. You know how the Vedas are just volumes and volumes and volumes. That's why, I always try to just extract some more spiritual nuggets from here and there and present it to you, all of you. So any other questions? If not, I want to show you my mother. She is, can you see her?
Please accept my humble obeisances.
She's always
Srila
cooking
Prabhupada,
amazing
all glories to
meals.
Veda, and all glories to each and every one of you. Merry Krishna.
Beautiful personality. She just cooks this incredible food. And she has a parrot or cockatoo?
A maca,
A mock bird. And this bird just chants all day long and sings
Her name
kirtan.
is Radhi.
And her name is Radhe. And she says, Haribo, Haribo. She's talking. As soon as you call her name, it should be, and then all of you remember Vijay. Vijay is a very beautiful community leader here in New York. So we were just having a little meeting that the community is to become more vibrant and become more active here in New York. And then he's the prince of the house. I don't know if you can see him. He's, right there. His name is Parmanand. He's the prince of New York. And then there's Dhananjaya Prabhu. He's sitting on the couch.
Dhananjaya. Show the temple. Show the temple.
You want to see do you want to see their temple? Do you guys want to see their temple?
Yes.
Okay. You want to see the temple? Are you sure? So you all can design. You can design your own temples. Here, we'll have Vijay give you a tour of the temple.
Here we go. And it's called Sri Sri Nitai Mayapur Chanda. And I'm also here. I'm over here. Hold on. There it is.
So this is our honorable deities, Garnitai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna. This is Nityananda, Sri Balarama. Krishna always have his brothers with him. And then again, Krishna Jagannatha. Come along, his sister Subhadra. And again, Lord Jagannath, Lord of the universe. Oh, no, Lord Balaram, sorry. Here is my dear Guru Maharaj in the morning.
Teacher?
When we start our day, we praise our Guru, we honor our Guru, then comes Srila Prabhupada.
And then you see the
Then the
distinct
disciple
succession.
session is Chaitanya.
And then you see a conch shell. This is a conch shell from the ocean.
Was given from you.
I gave her this conch shell. This conch shell represents wealth, and you see it's open. It's a big conch shell. It represents wealth. So this house is always going to be materially and spiritually wealthy. And you see, this is a picture of the sages of Vrindavan. That's pretty cool, huh? 6 sages. And there's the 5 spiritual principles, Panchatattva. And then you see Narasimha, half man and half lion. This Prahlad, this is young 5-year-old boy. This is Lakshmi Devi. The Shama Sundar, this is a deity of Shama, this divine personification, the masculine divine and then the feminine divine. And then you see this beautiful lady, she's carrying a pot of water. And that's is one of the gopis, one of the beautiful ladies. So this is it.
So this is it. So what we have to do, just apply the knowledge. That's most important.
So now it's time for all of you to take a break from me till next week. Thank you so much. Namaste, everyone. Please enjoy your day. And we will see you all soon. If you have any topics you want us to discuss, any questions you want us to address, please feel free to message us and we will be happy to talk about it. And Shana.